What's up, Quacks? So you guys have been wanting a video like this for quite some time. It's how I write and design my OCs. I have several different methods when it comes to this sort of process, so I'm just going to dive right into it. Number 1, weird dreams. So a lot of my weird dreams tend to just be very bizarre and I don't remember them. Some of them I do write down. It really depends on how interesting I find them, because a lot of the time I don't usually write them down, but when I do, it does help with memory retention, and also it does help me get inspiration. But when it comes to OCs, sometimes my weird dreams will inspire random characters. Usually there'll be some sort of plot and I'll see a character and I'm like, huh, that's interesting. So yeah, a lot of my OCs are actually dream inspired, and when it comes to getting inspiration from dreams, it's the hardest part is deciphering elements from the dream and elements that are not from the dream, because dreams are can be so vague, and also you're not going to remember everything when you wake up, unfortunately. You're not going to have any sort of recording or anything to really grasp the details, which is why if you do have a weird dream and you get some really cool ideas, the first thing you should do is write it down. If you don't have a journal next to you, just go on your notes app and write something down really quickly. It doesn't have to be in good grammar, especially if you just woke up, but that's something I always do. It's a very short time frame when you can remember things after waking up and you have a weird dream. So yeah, sometimes dreams will have bizarre elements that I'm like, do I want to keep all these things or do I want to keep it the same? But as the memory starts to fade, I tend to give myself a lot more leeway. An example would be this character I designed. I haven't named her as a recording, but she's this deer character, and initially her hair was going to be more saturated, more of a bright blue, and she was going to have more of a modern look, but the final result, she looks more natural, more cottagecore themed. And that's because as I was designing her and I made a mood board for her, I realized that the hair color I initially had wasn't going to fit her vibe, even though I tried to adjust the color palette. But I was just like, this doesn't work, especially if I'm trying to have nature themed character and she's out some sort of forest or whatever. So I decided I'm just going to make her hair more desaturated and more closer to a grayish color, and that's how I end up with the current design that I have. And as for the dream that inspired this character, in short, basically I was in some sort of contest, and the winners of the contest will be reincarnated or something like that. Anyway, so this one contest, which was an elimination round, took place in my kitchen, and this character was in our kitchen, and basically we had to avoid her for a short period of time, because if she touched you, you would turn into wood, and she had a wooden doll leg, and she was also a deer for some reason. So yeah, and I know that sounds so bizarre, but that's what makes it interesting, is that the character is so bizarre because of the dream. But that's usually where a lot of my best ideas come from, are my dreams. And also the whole Alice story with Mother Ethel and Alice, those characters also came from a dream, and that was definitely really fun to work on, because the other characters that resulted from that were all inspired from the dream, and I thought it was really cool. So yeah, overall, when it comes to dreams, I definitely think that is a great way to get inspiration, but I know not many people are going to have weird inspirational dreams too often, and to that I say, learn how to lucid dream, or be more mindful of the media you consume, because I think that definitely affects my dreams. And if you also are really desperate, you can also try to eat something that simulates the brain before you sleep. I think I've heard cheese definitely makes you have weird dreams. I don't know. So just something like that. Also, just make sure you get good sleep. I've noticed that my weirdest dreams tend to be when I go to sleep at a decent time, or early, 9 p.m. and I wake up at 5. So try to go to bed early, get enough sleep, and that definitely will help with dreams. This is definitely one of my favorite methods, and it is character creators. I love character creators. I love doll making games. I love games where you can dress up characters. This is one of the reasons why I love The Sims, because I love customizing characters and making them in video games and playing as them and all that. That is one of the best ways to make OCs. In fact, it's actually great because you don't even have to really draw them. You can just make them in the game and boom, take screenshots of them and whatnot. So yeah, when it comes to character creators, I'm referring to both video games and websites. So the ones that I frequently use in terms of video games is Life Makeover. Life Makeover is a fashion game, and I've been obsessed with it. It is definitely a really, really fun game for character creation. It's free, by the way. I know this is not like a sponsored thing, but yeah, it's free, and you can like do really in-depth customization for it. I will say though, it's only for like mostly like female or very feminine, androgynous leaning characters. So if you want a character that's more masculine, you can make them, but the game has very feminine fashion, so you probably won't have a great wardrobe to make male characters. Anyway, so there's that game. Also, when it comes to fashion games, you can also have a huge wardrobe and like a variety of hairstyles and outfits to choose from, which also helps with designing a character. I also love using P-Crew, and there's also this other site which is the Chinese version of P-Crew. It's called NECA. It's a little bit different from P-Crew because I think you have to like, there's certain elements that you have to pay for, but like it's pretty much free. Anyway, so yeah, P-Crews, any of those sort of websites. I mean, you could even play like those old doll flash games for inspiration, but they're very limited though, which is why I like P-Crew. The only limitations of P-Crew and whatnot are that most of them are like bust or shoulder up images, so you have to kind of use your imagination to like come up with different outfits. But the pro is that at least it gives you a good idea for like what you want the face to look like. There was an app that I used to use, but it's very hefty and it takes forever to download, so I don't recommend it unless you have like decent storage in your phone. It's called Custom Cast, and it's an anime themed one. I think it's also pretty female centric. I think you can make a male character in it, but like, again, it's more for female characters. I'm noticing a theme here. There's also like this other app I use. I love it. It's Monster Girl Maker. I love that one because I can make really fun looking characters in that app. I don't have it currently downloaded, but I did download it to make a character or make several characters. So there's that as well. There are plenty of apps on the App Store to make characters, like the Pastel Girl Maker game, and I think the entire company makes really good like character customization. The only gripe with apps is that a lot of them require you to watch ads to like access certain outfits, and you also have to pay money to get certain things. So unless you're like really desperate, I would only recommend it if you're okay with that, or if you're like, I don't mind paying money for it. There's also another website I love to use, and it's completely free, Gaia Online. Now I know that Gaia Online is a really old website, but like, trust me, it is so good in terms of character customization. The only gripe is that it is pixelated because the characters are super small, so it's hard to decipher all the little details. But trust me when I say it's really good because it has an extensive wardrobe, so you could spend hours looking through stuff, finding outfits to make characters. I mean, it used to be popular for making adoptables for a reason, but Kokaba Play is another game. It's another fashion game, and it's an app. That one's actually pretty good as well, and you can also get a pretty good variety of like male fashions. Again, a lot of fashion games are very female centric, so if you want to make a male character, you're gonna have to kind of go more towards like sim games, whereas fashion games you have more variety for female characters. I don't know what to tell you, that's just kind of how it is. But yeah, one of the reasons why I like using these games is because when I'm like searching through like all the outfits and combos to make these characters, it allows me to like think of, okay, why does this character have this? Why does this character have that? You know, and it definitely like helps me brainstorm visually, and that actually is what results in me coming up with cool character designs, is that I'm using the wardrobe I'm provided with to create characters, and as a result that gives me like ideas and sort of a base to design a character and to turn it into an official OC. So I think I explained that pretty thoroughly. This is probably gonna be like the longest section. The next method I use for creating OCs is Moodboards, and I love to use Pinterest because that is like the capital for coming up with moodboards and getting aesthetic images. So I love using Pinterest, and it has a variety of images I like to use. I've been making mood boards in a way that they're very like scrapbooky rather than just being like 6 squares or something like that. I think that adds more personality to it in a way. So when I make my mood boards nowadays, I try to find stuff that like inspires the character in terms of the design and their personality, but also their backstory and like the general vibe I want to go for. So let me try to look at one example. So as you can see here, this is my OC Melrock's mood board, and as you can see, a lot of the elements that are included on Melrock's design, especially when it comes to the color palette. He has a very like fast foody color palette with pops of purple and neon green. So when I was making his mood board, I was trying to find elements that were very bizarre and sort of 90s-esque and just like food, but like radioactive in a way, just to kind of get the general gist of like, okay, I want to make a character that has a fast food mascot type of energy, but it also is like some sort of radioactive element in there. So that's why there's a skull, gasoline can pouring something into a glass. That's why there's like Nickelodeon slime. So there's that as well. And there's also the food as well, also that like indicates that yeah, Melrock is a fast food, he's a fast food manager, so that kind of alludes to that. He really loves burgers, that's like his favorite thing, and that's an iconic food from fast food restaurants. The whole vibe of the mood board, it's like it has this sort of twisted and funky 90s pizza place fast food restaurant theme with like a dark side to it, and that's what I was going for. So when I designed Melrock, that's what his end result design looked like, and that all culminated from when I was making his mood board. So yeah, when it comes to making mood boards, be very mindful of like the color palette, the backstory. Like every image I think really should like sort of have a way of telling a story about the character without seeing the character. Like when you look at this mood board, you can kind of get an idea of what Melrock is like. So yeah, I hope that definitely helped when it comes to mood boards. But yeah, so that's my other method. On to the next one. So my final method is kind of controversial, but I think it's something that we all do, even though a lot of people in the art community will kind of try to gatekeep it, and it's taking inspiration from other people's OCs, because I see a lot of really cool ideas, and you know what, a lot of people will see an idea and they think, oh man, that person did that thing, now I can't do it, because if I do it then I'm gonna be told I'm copying them. And you know what, don't give a fuck about it, just do it. As long as you're not blatantly copying somebody, just do it, you know? Like, they may have been the first person to come up with that idea, but you can make a variant of it and do your own thing with it. That is literally like the entirety of art in a nutshell, is someone making something and then you see it and then you're like, oh, that's really cool, I'm gonna make my own version of it. And then you make your own version that inspires someone else, and then they make their own version, and it just continues on and on and on. And that's honestly a good thing. Like, I don't know why some people get so bent out of shape over people taking inspiration, as long as it's not egregious to the point where it looks like you're just copying the character. If it's simply just taking inspiration like subtly, that's fine. Or like, oh, I really like this idea for a hairstyle, or I like the way this outfit was drawn, that's fine. And also, I don't believe in color palette stealing. That's stupid, because you can't own a color palette. Like, just because I have a character that has like black hair and wears orange and blue does not mean that it's Goku, and it doesn't mean that I stole Goku's color palette. It just means they have the same color palette as Goku, and you know what, who cares? So yeah, like, I love taking inspiration from other people's OCs, not just like artists that I like, but also like from media, because if you think about it, all characters in media are OCs. So, you know, from mainstream shows and whatnot, like their backstories, their appearances and whatnot, and personality, that also helps with inspiring my OCs. I think that's definitely like a major inspiration source for a lot of people. So that's definitely something that I like to do. I don't have anything else to really say on it on this front, to be honest, because I don't really want to out like the artists or like who I got inspired by for certain OCs of mine. But yeah, like for the most part, a lot of them are like subtly inspired by like who I see, especially like on Pinterest. Like I have an entire board of just like inspiration, and a lot of it is probably people's OCs and just random like concept art I found for like video games. So that definitely helps when I need like inspiration for like a hairstyle or an outfit or whatever. But that's the whole fun of making characters, is you're making your own version of something. Every OC is a Frankenstein version of all your influences, whether you realize it or you don't. It's all subconscious in a way, and that's what makes OC designing so fun. So those are all my methods for how I create my OCs. I hope this was helpful. This wasn't really a tutorial, and more of just like me talking about like what I do and giving like vague advice. So I hope it was somewhat helpful. Yeah, like when it comes to creating OCs, just take inspiration wherever you see it. This also could be like a lightning round for other things. Like if you see something weird like a flower, turn it into a character design. There is an entire genre of just artists who will take like the most random objects and turn them into the most intricate looking characters. So if you also want inspiration, just do that as well. You can do it with anything really. That's what makes it so fun. Well, I feel like you have to open your mind and just look. Just keep looking. Just look everywhere. You'll find inspiration everywhere. Or actually, real life. I remember seeing a dude when I was at a train station on a trip, and his outfit was so cool to me. It was very me-core. He was wearing like a shirt that was like half pink and half black, and his shorts were also half pink and half black, and I was like, it was just so, I loved his outfit so much. It was definitely very like, oh, this is definitely an OC that I would design, but like in real life. So also be on the lookout for people like that. And you know what type of people who exist like that out in the world? Alt people. Look for alt people. They have the coolest looking outfits. They are definitely going to be a great source of inspiration for you because they look cool. And you could also look at just random people who are not alt, because sometimes getting inspiration from like average looking people and just people who you just see every day are also going to help you, because they'll give you insight onto just what regular people look like and their features. And don't be afraid to add like different unique features to people. You know, don't make all your OCs perfect looking. You can give them, you know, different unique features like crooked teeth, stretch marks, freckles, scars, all of that, because that makes characters more interesting. So yeah, just look at people, look at your favorite artists, and just really think to yourself, what do I like about this? What don't I like? Keep the things you like and include different elements into different things, and boom, you will have an OC. So yeah, I'll see you quacks later.